I think I became more patriotic and I felt more American when I was deported.
We have people here in Tijuana, Mexico, that are multiple recipients of the Bronze Star for heroism. They can't cross the border a short distance away to get VA care because they've been deported.
Here's where we sleep. We stay here as many as 7.
My heart and my mind's over there in the United States, you know?
In the US, serving in the armed forces has long been considered one of the highest forms of patriotism. But what that means for foreign-born military men and women can be complicated. 3% of our military is foreign-born. Of that, 75,000 of them are not US citizens. Like their US-born counterparts, they suffer from high rates of PTSD and substance abuse, but if they get in trouble with the law, oftentimes for crimes related to their PTSD, they're held to what some call double punishment, serving a prison sentence and then also being deported.
Right before I was discharged, I was having problems with alcohol and drugs. Then I caught a DUI, I was chaptered out of the military with an honorable discharge, but my major problem started right after the military service. I was basically involved in shooting. Nobody was hurt. I wasn't the person that did it, but at the end of the day, I'm the one that pled guilty to it. I went to prison for it, and I did a little bit over 2 years. I got deported to Nogales, Sonora, and basically they just walked me to a door, they opened the gate, and that was it. 6 months later, I snuck back into the country, and I just laid low under the radar from 2004 through 2010.
We are in TJ right now, Mexico, and the reason why I'm here is because I got deported. Got my uniform right here. I was in the 82nd Airborne Division with the paratroopers. After I did my time there, I re-enlisted. I deployed to Okinawa, Japan, and then I moved to Washington, 1st Special Forces Group. I wanted to be in there for 20 years. I was in Washington until I got in trouble. I was drinking with my buddy. We went to the bar, and then we got into an altercation with 3 guys. One thing led to another, and I had my gun on me, and I ended up shooting one of them. He got shot in the shoulder. He ended up going to the hospital. He lived. He didn't die or anything. Assault 1 is like a serious offense. In Washington, carries 9 years. And because the weapon was involved, that's 5 extra years. When I was incarcerated, I earned an AA degree and I earned a couple of diplomas. My last 4 years, I volunteered to fight wildfires. 12 years and 4 months goes by, and I ended up in a work release. You go out in the community and you get a job. The person that was in charge of me, she goes to my work in the morning and she's like, you have to go back to prison and you have to get deported. I got transitioned to Immigration Detention Center, and I was there for 5 months.
Did you know that once you did your time, you were going to get deported?
No, I didn't. Even though I served in the military and that I had my green card, and it just, that doesn't matter.
I don't buy the furniture for this apartment because every day I think my son and me want to go back.
Even if a veteran serves honorably as a US legal resident, if they're convicted of what's called an aggravated felony, they can still face deportation. Once limited to serious crimes like murder and drug trafficking, in the 90s, aggravated felonies started to include offenses like theft, failing to appear in court, and even some misdemeanors. Once a veteran is convicted of this, it's considered a lifetime ban on good moral character, which is something they need to show to become US citizens.
There was a ticket that I didn't pay, and I had a fender bender, but then I was a deported felon, so they picked me up again. They reinstated my deportation. I don't know what it was, but something told me like, I'm gonna get home one day, one way or the other. I thought it was gonna be like, okay, maybe a couple years, and it took me like almost 9 years. For me, being deported eventually brought out more the American, because I started really defining what it is to be an American. April 13th of 2018, I was granted citizenship through military service and a pardon that pretty much got rid of the criminal charge that I had pled guilty to.
It's funny because one day I was watching the Mexican news. They were talking about deported veterans. And I was like thinking in my mind, man, I hope that never happens to me. The years go by and I ended up in the same situation. And I remember seeing Hector on the news. Once I got deported, I went looking for him. The day that I found him, he got the pardon from the governor. That same day.
Oh, wow.
You did it, Hector. Congratulations.
14 years, man. Coming home, man.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Specialist Barajas down here at the Deported Veterans Support House, the bunker. And Monday morning, before I was deported, I was already working with deported veterans and their families. But when I got deported, now I was actually working with actual guys that were deported.
We have people here in Tijuana, Mexico, that are multiple recipients of the Bronze Star for heroism, war heroes, you know, and they can't cross the border a short distance away to get VA care because they've been deported. They're not angels, but you know what? Even in war, we don't expect our soldiers to deploy and be angels. We expect them to go do a mission, and that's what these guys did.
Basically, I go back to and fro, back and forth to the Deported Veterans Support House. So I'll be doing some work the next couple of days and then come back. The Deported Veterans Support House initially is the place where people can get housed. It's a shelter. That's what it originally started off of. You have that camaraderie and the similarities of service and how we grew up. One of our friends called it the bunker, or bunker to me comes to mind like a place where you're hunkered down. All the pictures of the gentlemen on the left are deported veterans that have passed away.
Here's where we sleep. We stay here as many as 7.
Give them hygiene kits. Whenever we have food, we give them food. We organize other veterans in other parts of the country, in Mexico and other countries as well. We connect them with attorneys from the ACLU, and then they review their cases. And just started off with 3 or 4 guys, and I mean, right now we have a database of almost 400 people that we know of.
So I ended up staying in the bunker for 1 week, me and my mom. But she wanted to stay there with me because she wanted to make sure that I was all right, you know?
Yeah.
So she was sleeping on the cot too, telling me stories every night.
It's virtually impossible to know the number of deported veterans because the government doesn't track them. Estimates range from a few hundred into the thousands, but there's really no way to know the exact number. There's been limited effort and support by lawmakers to find any relief for the deported veterans.
When I go back to and fro, especially when I'm at the border, at the actual border, then it reminds me of how long I was there, or how people are stuck back in Mexico, other veterans that can't come home to their families. So.
When I go to the border fence, I really don't like it because I feel betrayed, and I feel like I'm out of place. I shouldn't be here, you know. I should be on the other side of the border with my family, with my loved ones. You go from up here having everything, and then to just, it's like the bottom of the barrel, you know. I have to start all over in a new place, a new country, new culture, you know, so it's not easy.
Okay. There's only a couple ways you can return. Legally, which is very, very difficult. The only way you can return is if you die. Then you're brought back, they're gonna give your family a nice American flag. As soon as I got my citizenship, one of our brothers died. This is the only way he was able to come home. They're talking about his service and honor and all this. I'm like, it just doesn't make sense.
I understand that I did something wrong, that I should pay the consequences. I spent 12 years incarcerated, you know. I'm just, hoping for a second chance. My heart and my mind is over there in the United States, you know. I'm hoping that things will change, but if I see the situation that it becomes desperate, then I'm gonna try to go across illegally.
It's worth it to you, the risk?
Yeah, it's worth it. If it comes down to it, yeah.